heart of the Wild West, where the desert wind carried whispers of old grudges and blood-stained legends, a solitary rancher named Colton Graves lived a life guided by discipline and a code he never broke. 3 times a day, a man must honor the land, honor the people, and honor his word. Those words had been spoken by his late father, a man known for settling feuds peacefully yet commanding the respect of warriors, outlaws, and pioneers alike. For years Colton repeated that ritual. At sunrise he walked the perimeter of his ranch to honor the land, at noon he shared meals with any traveler or worker in need to honor the people, and at sunset he wrote a promise he intended to keep in his old leather journal to honor his word. Yet none of these daily rituals prepared him for the event that would change his life, and history itself. On a scorching afternoon when the sky looked like fire pressed against the earth, Colton spotted dust in the distance, too much dust for a single rider, too calm for an outlaw gang. As the figures approached, he realized they were Apache women, 2 elders and 1 young woman, tall, steady, and carrying an expression carved from storms. The Apache had not approached a white rancher's land in 5 years, not peacefully at least, and certainly not led by Kahiti, daughter of the great war leader Red Elk. She approached with her chin raised, meeting Colton's gaze with eyes sharp as obsidian. 3 times a day, she murmured, almost mocking him, our scouts watch your land. Sunrise, noon, sunset. You walk, you feed, you write. Why? Her English was crisp, confident. Colton answered simply, a promise to my father. The elders exchanged glances, and the younger woman nodded slightly, as if confirming something she had observed for months. Kahiti stepped forward. Then come with us at once. You are needed. Colton had no idea that following them would draw him into a political storm between nations, a spiritual crisis between tribes, and a secret that had been hidden in the desert for generations. They rode to the base of Black Mesa, where a concealed canyon held the Apache Council of Elders. Warriors watched him cautiously, hands on spears and rifles, but no hostility showed, only a wary curiosity. In the center sat Red Elk himself, older but still towering with presence. He spoke with the weight of thunder. White men steal, lie, break the earth. Yet you, he pointed a heavy finger. 3 times a day you show respect. Why? Colton shrugged. Because peace ain't something a man asks for. It's something he proves. A ripple of murmurs moved across the council. Kahiti stepped forward, holding a clay pot filled with black ash. This land is sick, she said. Trees dying. Water lowering. Animals thinning. Something unnatural has poisoned it. She tossed a handful of ash into the air, the wind carried the dust like ghosts fleeing sunlight. Your ranch sits where this sickness begins. You will help us stop it. Colton frowned. I'm no healer. Red Elk shook his head. Not a healer. A witness. He explained that an outlaw mining group, backed by Eastern businessmen, had begun illegal drilling under Black Mesa, poisoning streams and disturbing sacred ground. If the Apache attacked them, the U.S. Army would retaliate and slaughter entire tribes. But if a respected white rancher exposed the operation first, history could change. Colton's jaw tightened. So you brought me to choose sides? No, Kahiti corrected. We brought you because you already have. She had watched him for months, sharing his food with strangers, helping injured riders, burying a lost calf of a rival ranch without asking for thanks. You live a warrior's code without calling yourself one, she told him. That makes you dangerous and useful. Together they descended through hidden tunnels beneath the mesa. What they found shook even Colton's steel spirit, massive drills clawing through the earth, barrels of chemicals leaking into the soil, and hired mercenaries guarding the operation with long guns. The mining magnates planned to blow open a cavern that held centuries-old Apache burial grounds, seeking gold rumored to lie beneath. If they succeeded, the tribes would rise in fury, the ranchers would retaliate, and the army would do the rest. The West would drown in a war that need never begin. Red Elk whispered, this must stop before sunset. But Kahiti added, if we attack, they will blame us. You must be the one who exposes them. Colton's heart pounded. He was a simple rancher, not a hero, not a leader, but he remembered his father's words, honor the land, honor the people, honor your word. This was all 3. He devised a plan as daring as it was desperate. He walked into the mining site boldly, openly, hands raised. The foreman sneered. Colton Graves. Heard you were too dumb to leave other people's land alone. Colton ignored the insult. He spoke loudly, knowing Apache scouts hid above. You're poisoning the land. The army won't protect you when they learn you're breaking federal treaty land. The foreman laughed and ordered his men to capture him. That was the moment the sky exploded. Apache warriors revealed themselves with thunderous war cries, but instead of attacking the miners, they blocked every exit, trapping them inside the site. Colton shouted, "Drop your weapons." Nobody fires. Not one shot. Somehow, impossibly, his voice cut through the chaos. His courage stunned both sides. Even the foreman hesitated. Red Elk, standing high on a ridge, declared the mine seized, not by Apache hands but by lawful intervention of a rancher protecting indigenous land under treaty rights. The miners surrendered. Colton marched the foreman and his men to Fort Sumner, presenting evidence of illegal drilling, poisoned water, and violated treaties. The commander, recognizing the political danger of ignoring such proof, ordered the immediate shutdown of the mine. News spread quickly. Newspapers printed headlines calling Colton the men who saved two nations from war. The Apache called him Navajo Die, bridge walker. But Colton refused praise. "I just did what any man ought to." Yet that was the moment his father's ritual, 3 times a day, transformed from a personal code into a legend passed across the frontier. Months later, the Apache Council invited him to a sacred ceremony. Kahiti met him at the canyon entrance, her expression softer than the first day they spoke. "History remembers battles," she said, "but it should remember men who prevent them." She handed him a beaded bracelet woven with the symbols of peace. "This marks you as one who honors his word." For the first time, Colton felt the full weight of what he had done, not for fame, but for the land and the people who depended on it. As the ceremony flames rose into the star-filled sky, Red Elk declared, "Let this be written, a rancher, by choosing peace, changed history." And so his father's ritual lived on, sunrise, noon, sunset, an unbroken promise that shaped the destiny of the West. And to all who hear this story, remember, courage is not found in bullets or bloodshed, but in a single choice made at the right moment. If you enjoyed this tale of honor, history, and the untold stories of the Wild West, make sure today's after the mine was shut down, Colton felt the land breathing again, water clearing, animals returning, and the air no longer carrying that strange metallic sting. But peace in the West never lasted long. One evening, as the sun bled across the plains, Kahiti arrived at his ranch with urgency etched into her face. She didn't wait for him to speak. "Someone is trying to reopen the mine," she said, handing him a torn piece of a map marked with fresh routes, new tunnels, and the signature of a ruthless businessman named Barrow Kane, a man known for forcing entire towns off their land. Colton knew the name and the danger it carried. "He'll burn the whole mesa to get what he wants," Kahiti warned. The two rode into the desert under moonlight, following wagon tracks that cut across the earth like scars. Near the old site, they found dynamite crates, heavy drills, and hired gunmen preparing for something far bigger than before. Colton crouched behind a boulder, whispering, "This isn't mining, this is war." Kahiti nodded grimly. "Kane wants to provoke the Apache. If we attack, the army sides with him. If we do nothing, he destroys our land." For a moment, Colton felt the weight of two worlds pressing on his shoulders. Then he remembered his father's words, "Honor the land, honor the people, honor your word." He turned to Kahiti. "Then we fight smarter, not louder." Together they devised a bold plan to expose Kane publicly, gathering proof and sending word to allies, hoping to stop a conflict before it swallowed everyone. And as they rode back into the night, Colton realized that what he had begun wasn't over, it was only the beginning.